Hey guys, we're at lesson 2 today, partitioning shapes into equal areas. So they're giving you a shape and you're partitioning. That means you're marking it off into sections that have the same area. So we can divide shapes into parts with equal areas and write each equal part as a fraction. All right, here we go. Mia designs playgrounds. What a cool job. She plans to divide it into 4 parts with equal areas. So far, Mia has found one way to divide the playground. Show another way to divide the playground. Explain how you know that the 4 parts in your plan are equal in area. Okay, so we're going to look at Mia's plan. Well, first of all, we need to see what Mia's got going on here. She's got 4, so our plan has to have 4 parts too. But hers are horizontal. That means they're going this direction. She's got a 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let me double check that. Make sure my eyes are not playing tricks on me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yep, 14. So we've got a 2 by array. Now remember, we don't know too much about multiplying by 1-digit numbers, but we know how to break this apart. We can say 2 times 10 is 20, plus 2 times 4 is 8. So if we add 20 and 8 together, what do we have? Yep, 28. So this is 28. And these are all the same. So every one of these is 28 square units. So we need to do some other way of dividing this up into 28 square units. And remember, we have a 1 by, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 14 array. So we've got to think for a minute. We've got to figure out something times something to give us 28. That's not 2 and 14. So I'll give you a little think time on that. Okay, so I'm thinking, well, I know that, wonder if I cut 8 in half. That would give me 4 on each one. So I gotta think, 4 times what is 28? Yeah, 7. Would that work? Yeah, look, we could split 14 in half. So if we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's going to be right there. So that means we would have 7 on this side, 7 on this side. That would give us 14. Then if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, split this in half this way, that means we would have 4 on this side, 4 on this side. So this would be a 4 by 7 array. This would be a 4 by 7. This would be 4 by 7. This would be 4 by 7. And that means that each one of those will be 28, just like this. So that's another way our plan could be made, because we have to have that 28 square units, and that gives us that. Instead of having long, skinny rectangles, we've got big, wider rectangles. Okay? Give you a moment before I turn the page. All right, so let's look on the other side. You can always pause the video if you need to. All right, how can you divide this rectangle into 6 parts with equal areas? Well, let's see what we've got to start with. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay? So, equal areas. Oh, but it's got to be 6 parts. Well, oh, let's do this. Let's divide 16 in half, which will be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've got 8 on this side, 8 on this side. So if I could do, I could do 3 rows of 2. So I know that 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9. So I could do 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, draw a line. 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, draw a line. Give us 1, 2, 3 at the bottom. Double checking that. I looked a little off. So that was 3 by 8. 3 times 8 is what? Yep, 24. And this is 3 by 8. This would be 3 by 8. All of these would be 3 by 8s. And if you have the same multiplication sentence, then you know they're all going to be 24 square units. And then how do you know they're equal areas? All are 3 by 8. And then 3 times 8 equals 24 square. Okay? And then it says, what fraction of the whole? That's talking about unit fractions. What unit fraction are we talking about here? If I were to go in and just pick one, that means we're talking about 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total pieces. So 1/6. That's a fraction of the whole is another way of asking what's a unit fraction. If you were to reach in and just take one of them, you would be taking 1 of the 6, so it would be 1/6. Give you a couple of seconds. That's a lot of writing. All right, number 2. Divide the circle so that each part is 1/3 of the area of the whole shape. How can you show that each part of your circle is equal in area? So, remember, I told you with thirds, you could do a Y shape and divide it into, okay? And that could be a stand-up Y or it could be upside down. And then they're asking how you could check that. Well, you know, this one is not exact. I can just tell you. But it's kind of close. So if you took this and divided it into 3 pieces, if you wanted to check it to make sure it was right, you could cut the pieces apart and lay them on top of each other and see if they matched up perfectly. If you cut the circle apart, and let's say this, and stack the parts to see if they match. Okay? So those are our notes of how we would check that. Right. 2. And then we're going to move on to look at Angela and Pedro and their drawings. Okay? All right, so Angela and Pedro divide rectangles into 8 equal parts in different ways. Both rectangles are the same size and shape. So here's Angela, here's Pedro. Do the parts from Angela's rectangle have the same shape as the parts from Pedro's? So are they the same shape? No. Angela, apostrophe S, parts are, we can say, wider. Okay? See how hers are wider than Pedro's? Pedro's are long and skinny. Hers are shorter and wider. Who divides the rectangle into parts that are greater in area? Angela or Pedro? Well, we've had a question like this, similar. These are both the same size and shape. The only difference is Angela divided hers up vertically, Pedro did his horizontally. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She divided hers into 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if they're the same size, same shape, and they both divided them up into 8 pieces each, who divided the parts into a greater area? That's right, neither. Both parts have the same what? Area, right. Okay, so both parts have the same area because they're the same size, same shape, and both are divided up into 8 pieces. All right, guys. Now, we're going to work through this a little bit differently this time. This time, I'm going to work through these problems with you because these are a little bit tougher. Okay, some of these you'll breeze through them, and some of them you're going to have to look at. So instead of pausing the video this time, we're going to work through this together and then on your ed assignment. Okay, so let's look. What fraction of the total area of the circle does each part represent? Here we go, fraction of the total area. So they're asking for unit fraction. So if we picked out 1, we would pick out 1 out of 4. So that will be 1/4. Okay? Now Nora and Nick cut felt squares to make the 6 equal patches. Nick wants his patches to have a different shape but the same area to show how they can cut each of the felt squares. So main thing here, we don't have a grid to look at here, but we have the same size, same shape piece, so we need to divide it up into the same number of pieces for them to have the same area. So we're going to divide both of them up into 6 equal pieces. Well, we did that on another one, so let's just split it down the middle and do 3 rows of 2. Okay, so that one would work. So we've got to divide this up into 6 pieces. Well, if we do this number, do little, like up here with Pedro, but instead of doing 8 times, we're going to do 6 times. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, just kind of eyeball it. So we've got this divided up in 6 pieces. So this little square rectangle and that long rectangle would have the same area because same size, same shape, square, and we divided them both into the same number of pieces. Okay? All right, let's look at the other side. Now, this one gets interesting. Glenn says he can divide a six-sided shape into three parts with equal. Emily says she can divide a shape into six parts with equal areas. Whose statement is correct? Draw to explain. All right, so we're going to make this Glenn at the top, and we're going to make Emily. So Glenn is three parts. Now, I want you to look at this carefully because this is where it gets a little fuzzy, trying to draw this. And you won't have this on statewide testing or map testing, I don't think. They're not going to give you this and say, draw this. They may give you one that already has the parts and ask you a question. So, we're going to come over to this center point right here. So, put you a little darker dot. And we're going to go from here to this corner, like so. Then we're going to go from the center point to the edge right here in that corner. Then we're going to go from the center, you got it, and go to this corner. You look at that carefully, it kind of looks like a 3D cube. See how this is the top, side, side? That's kind of a cool looking thing. Now, Emily, on the other hand, she says, well, I can divide it up into six. So, here we're going to go straight across and divide it up into a top and bottom trapezoid. Then we're going to do from here diagonally all the way across to here. Then we're going to go, I'm going to turn my paper so I can do this better, corner to corner here. So what it looks like is you've divided in half this way and put an X. So, did Glenn divide his up into three parts with equal areas? Because if you look at that, all three of those are the same. Did Emily do the same? She sure did. So, whose statement is correct? You can say both are correct. Okay? Then moving on to number 4, divide the shape into 6 equal parts. How do you know you divided your shape into 6 equal parts? All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. Okay. Well, if this is 6 and we're doing 6 equal parts, each row, look at that, that would work. Each row would be a part. So each one is a 1 by 8. Here's one row with 8 in each row. Each part is 1 by 8, and that equals 8 square units. That was kind of easy, easier than I thought it would be. All right, shade 1/4 of the shape on the left. Now they're talking about this one that's already divided up into 4 pieces, not this one. We're going to use that for something else in a minute. So just pick one. I'm going to pick this one, but you don't have to. You just need to pick one and shade it in with your pencil. Is there another equal parts? Sure. Check this out. We could go like this. Look at there. That's pretty cool. So, yes, there is And if there is, draw it. Oh, and it says to shade 1/4. So here again, pick one. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to pick the first one and shade it in as well. Like so. Okay. Good job, guys. That took a little bit longer. This one was a longer little lesson. So work on your ed assignment. If you don't finish it in class, it's for homework. Work carefully. And I'll see you next time.